What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Man, I'm excited about today. I love fishing new lakes, and that's exactly what we're doing today. This is my first day out on a brand new lake that I've never been to, and that is Dale Hollow. The famous Dale Hollow. Boy, it's a beautiful lake. We're here in the mountains in northern Tennessee. Excited to get out here. You know, Dale Hollow is full of big fish, big smallmouth, big largemouth, you name it, there's big fish in Dale Hollow. So I'm excited to get out here and break it down with you guys. That's what we're gonna do here today. I wanna take you guys through how I break down a new body of water. Like I said, I've never been here before. It's the first time I've launched my boat on the lake. So we're gonna go out here and see if we can't figure out some bass. Now, we're here in March, mid-March, towards the end of March. So I'm thinking the bass are going to be pre-spawn, but like I said, we're going to go through all the steps to figure out how to find some bass here on Dale Hollow. Stay tuned. Look at this. I love when I see this. We have nothing. No waypoints, no trails, no information. We're just going out purely on instinct to try and figure out some fish here today. This is fun. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is start a new trail on my Lowrance so we know where we're going and where we've been. We put in here at Sunset Marina. It's kind of way up this one river. I guess halfway up this one river. But if you guys know me, I like clear water. The water looks pretty clear here, but I like the dam end. So the first thing I generally do when I come to a new lake is run all the way down towards the dam and check it out. So I don't think we're gonna quite go all the way to the dam, but I'm gonna make my way out of this river and check out this nice midsection of the lake right here. I'm gonna start right there and kind of work my way down towards the dam here today. So let's go. We got a little bit of a boat ride here. A little bit further than I expected, but we just made the run down to that mid to lower section of the lake. That's always where I like to start when I come to a new lake. And what I did here was I picked a smaller little creek arm, pocket, whatever you want to call it, and it has lots of these little drains, lots of these little secondary points. So I wanted to start with a pocket that looked like that because generally speaking, on most lakes, there's bass that live in every one of these creek arms. So if you start with one of those smaller ones, you can kind of fish through it a lot faster. You can figure out if they're on the secondary points or if they're in the back of the drains, if they're in the back of the pocket. And then you can use that information and scale it to a bigger creek arm or a river or whatever. Generally, you can use this information and figure out this little creek arm faster than you can a big giant river arm, and then use the information that you learned from this one and take it over to the next creek. So I really like the look of this one on the map. You know, it's north facing. It's got lots of those little points. It's in the mid to lower section of the lake, which is perfect for pre-spawn time of year. So I'm gonna run around in here a little bit, see if we can't find some bait, find some fish, some trees. I don't know what kind of structure is going to be in here, but I already see 3 or 4 bass boats in here, so I must have picked a pretty good creek. We got a lot of this just shale rock on the bank. So right off the bat, I'm thinking crankbait. Crankbait, Alabama rig, jerkbait. You know, the water's pretty clear and the water temperature is going to be somewhere in the 50s. It hasn't fully adjusted yet, but once it does, we'll get a pretty good reading on the water temperature. And I feel like these fish are going to be feeding on bait fish. So I'm going to go tie on a few baits and see if we can't catch a couple fish here. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so I just spent a little minute here and got a couple rods rigged up. I had nothing ready. Like I said, this is my first time out on this lake, so I really came into it with no idea of what to expect, no preconceived notions. I just wanted to show up, get out on the water, and then make decisions from there, kind of read the water. So let me show you what I rigged up here. I got 4 rods rigged up for now. You know, if the fish bite these, I might stay with these 4 all day, but if not, I'm gonna be pulling out some more rods. But first, we got a Epic Baits finesse jig, 9/16 peanut butter jelly color. That's a beautiful little jig. I just put a little super chunk on the back. I'm a threader. I like to thread my chunk. Everyone's a little different. Some guys like to just impale them. I'm a threader. I like to thread it. So we got a jig in case I see any lay down trees or anything like that. We got a crankbait. This is a Bagley Diving B1. Nice spring crawfish color right there. That's gonna be to cover some water. Just burn down this bank, see if we can't locate some fish. Then over here, I got 2 jerk baits. These are Megabass Vision 110 plus ones. I like the deeper version, especially on these highland lakes like this, deeper water. I got LG Bone color. Can't beat that color anywhere in the country. I think this one's Tennessee Shad. Just 2 different colors. You know, this one's more of a clear, got some chartreuse on the bottom. This one's more of a flash. It's got some chrome sides. So just 2 varying colors just to see if they like one better than the other. All right, we got some stuff rigged up. Let's go catch a bass. Well, that didn't take long at all, now did it? Nice largemouth on the jerkbait. Had to be like my 5th, 6th cast, something like that. Chunky little largemouth.
I want to read a quote that you said after you won, and I thought it was very mature, a very mature quote for someone who's 23 who just won $100 grand and has 11 top 10s in 35 events fished. He said, "The money is great, don't get me wrong, but I'm not out there for the money. I do it because I love it, and to earn these trophies, these competitions, this is where I'm meant to be. You know, pro fisherman and go toe to toe. You're competing against them to win in just my 2nd event."
Oh yeah, look at that big fatty. Look at that big fatty on the Epic finesse jig. Nom nom nom.
You've had some
Chunked it.
success before. You did have a BFL win before this. Where you are, I would have a difficult time getting out there and not splitting my time I guess if you're down there, you know, it's like normal, I guess. You have that option. But it's a cool part of the country that you live in. You have a lot of diversity. I think a lot more diversity. We're seeing, you know, a lot of Florida anglers making it national. Do you get on those phosphate pits ever? All the phosphate stuff?
Yeah, really, that's kind of where I'm using the light scope a lot. That's helping out big time too.
Did the forward-facing sonar play a lot in this for that for you?
A little bit. I can
a lot of kind of heavy-hitting fisheries coming up that I think you'll have a good time in.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.
All right, see ya. That was Christian Greco, the latest winner of the Pro Circuit event down there in, I guess, the waters of the Harris Chain. But yeah, just a crazy number of people. 27. Get back to the top. We got Sean. There's potential.
That's a big old smallie on the jerk bait. Look at that one. All right, well, that wasn't bad for the first stop of the day, right? We caught 4 bass, 3 largemouth, 1 smallmouth. I had 2 more bites, and I had a bunch of fish follow my jerkbait on one of these points. Now, another thing I didn't mention, whenever I'm at a new lake, I like to waypoint every fish that bites. So now I can look here at my map and see, get just a general view of where the bites came from. So look, we got 1, 2, 3 of those bites were in the very backs of the creeks. So now I can kind of run that pattern. So I can zoom out here and look for another pocket that looks similar and run to the back of that one and kind of focus on the back third. All right, so we just made another little move. This is another little pocket similar to the first one. It's on the north side of the lake. It's got a bunch of little drains and little pockets, little points. So we're gonna fish up through here real quick, see if we can't catch a couple more bass. You know, that second spot wasn't quite as good as the first one. So I'm gonna give it 3 or 4 more tries before we eliminate that it's a pattern and it was just a good area. You know, I always like to give it 3 or 4 strikes before I say, hey, it's not a pattern, you know, it's just a good area. But let's go, let's get to work.
Continues to be the crystal fortress of solitude, and but he did say on stage yesterday, if he wins today, he is getting a girlfriend. All right, break him on stage today, Dave. I want you to crack the shell with him. Dave, I will try. I will try. Give me. All right.
Hey, Dave, stop. One more question, Dave. Dave's gone. I can't.
Got us one on a little crankbait. It's another little chunky largemouth. That's how you like them to eat the jerkbait right there. Boy, he's got a bunch of hooks. Got the front hook, so you know he's trying to eat it good. Can't even get him unhooked. So we made another move to another pocket that looked like that first one. Getting a couple bites. Think we figured out a little pattern we can run around the lake. Next cast, got another one. Little tiny guy, but it's a bite. There's obviously some fish in this pocket. We got another one. We got us another one. All right, guys, so we found some more fish here in this little pocket. What I've noticed, I just want to share this with you guys before we get too far into this video. So what I've noticed is if you see some bait fish around, or some bait fish like out at the mouth of that pocket there, it seems like if you see that bait fish, there's gonna be bass in that pocket. You know, any little piece of wood, like we got, looks like an old beaver dam right there. Any little piece of wood or lay down seems to have some bass on it. It's really that simple. You know, you just go around, look for some bait fish, find those pockets. They seem to be towards the back third or back half of the pockets. Any little piece of wood, it's gonna have a largemouth on it for sure. It's been a lot of fun here so far. So I appreciate you guys watching so far. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. You know, I'm trying to really grow this channel, put out a lot of cool content, and we got a lot of stuff coming up in the next few months, a lot of tournaments, a lot of fishing videos, a lot of tips and tricks. So if you're looking to step up your bass fishing game, hit that subscribe button, and hopefully I can teach you something here over the next coming weeks or months throughout the rest of the season. Anyway, let's get back at it, see if we can't catch a few more bass. We got a little smallie on the crankbait. That's another one. So I'm gonna try something a little different now. So I was trolling across this point, and I noticed a brush pile on my forward-facing sonar. So I'm gonna try dragging that Epic Baits jig through there, see if we can't get a bigger one on the jig. at that big chunker. Chunky monkey there. Beautiful Dale Hollow largemouth. Alright guys, we got another one. So I actually switched up jerk baits. I got the new Berkeley Stunner jerk bait on there now. But we got another fatty. The pattern continues to work. Now, full afternoon update. Let's see, it is 3:30. So been at it for 6 hours now. And this pattern continues to work. We got a little breeze blowing and it seems like they started to bite a little bit here in the afternoon. You know, the jerk bait's been a major player. That's what's caught the bulk of my fish. You know, I caught a big one on a jig, caught a couple on a little crankbait. I don't even think I've showed you guys all the fish catches. It's been a pretty good day out here on Dale Hollow. Not too bad for my first day out on this lake. So hopefully you guys are learning something so far. Learning how to break down a new lake and learning maybe even a few areas. You know, I'm showing you exactly where I'm catching them here on Dale Hollow. So hopefully you guys can come to these same spots someday and catch the fish. Also, if you're looking for any of this tackle that I've used today, or really any tackle in general, anything bass fishing related, head over to fishusa.com. They got a huge selection in stock ready for purchase right now today. You could order it today and have it in a couple days. You know, they're quick, they're on it, real fast shipping, so you can get your product and get out on the water and catch some fish. I'm gonna get back to it. There's a bunch more fish I seen on my live scope right up here. So let's see if we can't catch a couple more. You know, I was just thinking about rigging up an Alabama rig just to try something different. But that jerkbait bite is so much fun. That's one of my favorite ways to catch them, so I'm gonna keep doing that for now. Alrighty. Got us another one on the jerk. On the old jerk bait. Alright guys, well, we just made another little move back up the lake. We're kind of like right at the mouth of that river that we launched in. It's right there to get back to the ramp. But this little pocket looks good. You know, it's got 4 or 5 fingers on it. You know, got a lot of those little secondary points right in here. And it's got that bluff rock on it. Looks like there's some wood right up here. That looks like a good bank right in front of us. So I'm hoping we can get up there and catch a few more fish and kind of keep building on this pattern. But hopefully you guys are learning something. You know, this is what I do every time I go to a new body of water. You know, I try and figure something out, and then I just try and duplicate it and duplicate it and duplicate it until you figure out which areas have the biggest population of fish, and then if you're fishing a tournament, the biggest quality fish. You know, I have a tournament coming up on Dale Hollow. It's like 10 days away, but I'm not going to be able to practice a whole lot for that tournament. So wanted to come here and just spend a little time and get to know Dale Hollow, catch a few fish along the way. So let's go. I think we're going to catch some here. Got us another chunker smallie. Man, he got all the hooks. Well guys, it's starting to get a little dark here. I'm gonna fish a little bit longer, but it's gonna wrap up this video. If you made it this far, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate you guys watching. I really do. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Hopefully you learned something from this video. Stay tuned. Like I said before, I have a tournament coming up on Dale Hollow. It's 10 days from today. I'm not sure when I'm going to publish this video. Probably not till after that tournament. That way this information isn't out there till after the tournament. But stay tuned for those videos. They'll be coming as well, a practice and a tournament video and a recap from that. So stay tuned for more information on Dale Hollow Lake. But I appreciate you guys watching. Leave me a likes and comments down below. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you guys next time.